Hello everybody, another vlog update. Look at this cat. Look at him. He's such a good kitty. He's having a cat nap, cat rest. So vlog update for today. I broke up with that chick. I broke up with that trucker girl, but we weren't even dating, so it wasn't like a real breakup. Kind of felt like it though. I called her, and she answered, and she's like, "I'm busy, I'm working," or something, and I was like, and she was talking quickly, and I said, "This will only take a second." Or I said, "This won't take long." I said, "It's over between us." Or, no, I said, "I'm ending it between us, it's over." And my heart was like beating hard when I said that, because it's like conflict. But it had to be done. And I honestly, I don't know, my feelings are mixed about it. But I think it was like the right thing to do, because she disrespected like me, like our plan. Like she disrespected it. Like she was acting weird, and basically that's it. Like, we had a plan. Like if she was to be in close by, then I could go meet her, because we don't live in the same city or anything. And then she said she was close by, but then she just didn't respond. It's like, all right, that's it. And I said that you're acting weird, and then she tried to like say, "What did I do?" And she's like, "Are you okay?" It's like, bro, don't mess with me like that. I don't like playing that stuff. But so anyways, but I get it. I get how things are. A little crazy, and but yeah, it was just not good, I guess. And not saying craziness is a good thing. And then yeah, she said like, okay. And then I said, "God be with you, have a good day, bye." And she said bye, and then I hung up. And the have a good day part, that was kind of a reflex. Like, I feel like I probably didn't need to include that, but it's just kind of something I say when I'm like hanging up on the phone or whatever, but or saying goodbye to somebody. But I mean, honestly, it was fine. Like, it went fairly well, and I'm not trying to like hurt her or make her feel bad, honestly. Like, so, because I could have been a lot meaner, but then the thing is that she could try to be mean back. It's like, I don't think either of us want that. So I would say for the best. And I'm glad I did it, because the thing too is that it's kind of like up to me to do it. Can't wait for a girl to do it. I mean, I've done that in the past. It's not a good idea to do that, actually, by the way. And in the past, I've actually had a girl refuse to break up with me. when I told her that we're breaking up, she said no. And I mean, I don't know, I never like took things that seriously for some reason, which was, not a good way to go about it. And Then I think like let me just turn on a light here, get some better lighting. It's starting to get dark out. I think that like I forget what I was gonna say. But yeah, anyways, with that girl, we broke up. Like the one before, we broke up like later on, when she was like ready to. Uh, so that was also weird. And then that was weird also. But then the other one, or I broke up with another girl, but like I waited for her to, break up, but I was already like checked out. And again, these are all bad ways to go about this. I'm not saying them as if they're a good thing. you know, pretty obvious that they're not good ideas. But I'm just saying, like, it's better to do it when you realize that you want to be out of the relationship and all that, But if you're undecided yourself, like I guess I was, then it can make it even more painful, I suppose. But yeah, anyway. Now I'm just gonna, I guess, be alone more. It sucks. Being alone honestly sucks. But it's not as bad now. I'm not saying I'm like I want to be alone or anything, but I am alone, so I guess I'm somewhat used to it. But again, I'm not trying to say it as a good thing. I think it's a good thing if you can meet somebody and grow together. I think this is something people don't realize, because people think of themselves as themselves, but I guess like you grow together. Like if you're with somebody, like a relationship or whatever, it's better, I think, to be on the younger side, like not try and wait till you're older. Although older people will give you all kind of stuff, like say all kind of stuff, but you grow together. You know what I mean? And there's a greater chance that you'll like bond and like pair bond or whatever. But yeah, it actually gets harder as you get older, and if you've done like I have and been a lecherous, which just means you've focused excessively on like sexual things in your life and like had many different partners, it makes it harder. It's not a good thing. I don't know why I laugh about it, but it honestly is a bad thing. But that is our culture, as everybody kind of knows at this point. But the data and everything backs it up. It's weird, because I guess like if there's ambiguity, people, they kind of just do whatever, and they might think that it's all good. It's not all good. And just because other people are doing it or do it or whatever, or that's the culture, it still doesn't make it good. It still doesn't make it good, Yeah, my friend group was all into that and everything, so, kind of the way the fish are swimming and the flow of it, but it still, again, does not make it a good thing. But anyway, now that's over. So what else did I do today? So that I just did that not too long ago, and then I went for a walk to like, clear my head and everything. And then what else? I went to the dollar store and I got some Montelier, these waters, these blue sparkling waters, or sparkling waters in a blue bottle. Those are good. I got the lime and the lemon flavor. I like them. I hope there's not too much microplastics in the bottles. But then I also, and by the way, I feel kind of like pale and like not so great right now, but I am also fasting today, the whole day. I forgot to fast yesterday. Normally I fast on Fridays. I totally forgot yesterday. But I am fasting today, so not eating anything, just water, drink decaf coffee, black, and I lick some salt to get some salt into my system. Your brain needs sodium. It helps your brain to function, so it's good to have salt and electrolytes. But took some supplements, and then also, what else did I do? So I went to, I was just kind of feeling like doing stuff, so I went to the university, and I was kind of like concerned because on Saturdays, today's Saturday, I was not sure if you could get in because they locked the doors, and there's just like the front entrance, because there's like doors all around, but there's just the front entrance where the security guard is. And I was thinking like, oh, I don't have a student card, because I'm an alumnus. I used to go there, and but I was concerned, like, are they gonna want to see my student card? Are they gonna like say, oh, you're banned, you can't come in here, we're gonna keep an eye out for you now. You have no student card, we're watching for you. Kind of a silly thought, but I looked it up online, and it says that if you went to the school, you can use the library forever. So I was like, yes. So I went up into the library, and I found a really nice spot that they just redid it in like the very top of the library, because it goes up actually a few floors. It's nice up there, like I really enjoy it, and it's kind of like a high spot with a lot of windows. And it's also like a weird, like kind of hidden spot in like a smaller, almost like I would say a nook up like a spiral staircase. And they just redid it, so it has new carpets, nice carpet. For some reason, the carpet really adds a lot of like just kind of comfort to the area, and it's new. And they have like study desks, and there's like a slanted window. The light comes in and it hits the desks, and it just has this nice feeling to it. And then it's like an overhang spot where you can actually see down to a floor below, and you can see the stacks of books, the bookshelves. And there's plants on the other side that you can look down, and there's like a greenhouse area kind of where there's a ton of plants. And it was just me too, because it's Saturday, so I guess very few students go on Saturday. By the way, that's a tip: if you're a student, you should study. Go on Saturday, go on Sunday. You're actually supposed to put in 3 hours for every 1 hour that you put in class time. You're supposed to put in 2 to 3 hours of extra studying. And honestly, it amounts to a lot of studying. Like, it's a full-time job. Some people try and do like 5 classes. Mr. Cat. And the actual amount of studying that you have to do is a ton. But a lot of students, they just kind of figure out how to pass tests and get good grades, which makes sense. But the studying correlates with higher grades. So anyways, I went up there and there's nobody. And I found a book, and I want to share something. I was looking through the books, and I was thinking about, looking at like a basic philosophy book. But then when I was going through, I was just like, I was like, I cannot. This is so like, it's just so much work. It's like so, also boring, and like just, I still am considering doing it. Like trying to learn the basics of philosophy and all that, the basic areas, the basics of each area. I'm not trying to do in-depth or anything, but a basic understanding. But it's like so many books, and it's like, I was like, it's kind of like a lot, But then I went over to the religion section, which I prefer. Philosophy gets really annoying too. It can be, but I went over to like the religions section and I looked at the books by the early church fathers. I like this section, but it was funny because on one side they just reorganized it, and there's like the early church fathers books, the Orthodox Church or even the Roman Catholic church fathers, all there. Origen, Basil, Athanasius, like all these guys. And it looks so nice, like they're all set there. And directly across, you know what they put there? The Talmud! No! I was looking at it and I took a picture and I was thinking like, good and evil. Like, seriously, why would they do that? But, anyways, I pulled out a book, and I pulled out a book by, I was kind of like not sure, which one, but I just grabbed one, St. Basil, Letters of St. Basil. And I'll read some here, but the reason I picked St. Basil is because they actually read part of his liturgy at one of the church services like last week, or I think 2 weeks ago. For some reason, I'm not sure. But I really liked it. Like, I really liked the St. Basil liturgy. More so than... I do like the St. John Chrysostom liturgy as well, but the Basil one I really liked. So I was like, let me look at his letters. And I will read here something from his letters that was so funny to me. I'll read it here. Okay. So this is letters from St. Basil to somebody else, I think named Libanius. And so it's a back and forth. So it's a letter from St. Basil or Libanius to St. Basil, and St. Basil back to Libanius. Okay, so... Will you not cease, Basil, filling these sacred precincts of the Muses with Cappadocians, and that too, when they are redolent of the frost and snow and other good things there? They have almost made me a Cappadocian, always chanting to me there, I make obeisance to you. Yet it must be endured, since Basil commands it. Understand, therefore, that although I understand accurately the manners of your country, I shall clothe the men with the nobility and good taste of my Calliope, so that they may seem to you to be tame doves instead of wild pigeons. Letter 349, Libanius to Basil. Next letter. Your annoyance is ended. Let this indeed be the prelude of my letter. As for you, mock and ridicule are customs either in jest or in earnest. Yet why did you make mention of snow or frost, when it was possible for you to exult over us with your jibes? For my part, Libanius, that I may stir you to loud laughter, I have written my letter while covered over with a blanket of snow. When you receive it and touch it with your hands, you will perceive how icy cold it is in itself, and how it characterizes the sender who is kept inside and is unable to put his head out of the house. For the houses we possess are tombs until the spring arrives and restores to life the corpses which we were, again bestowing upon us, as upon plants, the gift of existence. Letter 350 to Libanius. Next letter. Although you have enclosed in your mind all the art of the ancients, you are so silent as to permit us to gain nothing whatsoever by your letters. Now, if the art of the teacher were safe, having made Icarian wings, I would have come to you. Nevertheless, since it is not possible to trust wax to the sun, instead of using Icarian wings, I am writing you words which prove our friendship. Moreover, it is the nature of words to reveal the love in the soul, and for this reason are my words. You may carry them wherever you wish, and although you possess such great power, you are silent. Give in exchange to us, however, the fonts of eloquence which flow from your mouth. St. Basil's letter 359 to Libanius. So that was 3 letters. It was a back and forth, and it was actually funny, and it was touching as well. The funny part, I don't know if it really came across, but the funny part is like the sarcasm in the first 2 letters, and part of the half of the last letter. But he was saying, like, Libanius was saying to Saint Basil, it's there's frost. These Cappadocians are redolent of the frost and snow and other good things there. Redolent, I think it means fond of, or it can mean fond of. And then St. Basil responds. It was funny, the first line he says is, "Your annoyance is ended." They were like being sarcastic back to each other, like kind of like, pecking or jibing back at each other. And he even said it was a jibe. And then St. Basil was saying to Libanius, and then he says, "For my part, Libanius, that I may stir you to loud laughter, I have written my letter while covered over with a blanket of snow. When you receive it, touch it with your hands. You will perceive how icy cold it is in itself, and how it characterizes the sender who is kept inside and is unable to put his head out of the house." It was so funny. And like, look outside. It's spring, or it's not spring, it's still winter, and it's approaching spring. But he was saying then, and I thought this was so funny. I was thinking this morning before I went to the library. I was thinking, like, when does this winter end? It's March 15th or something. But then he said, "For the houses we possess are tombs until the spring arrives and restores to life the corpses which we were, again bestowing upon us, as upon plants, the gift of existence." So yeah, the spring is coming, the summer is coming, it'll give us life again. We've been inside all winter, oh my word, And the last one, I really like the last half, because he says, and it was really touching, like, their friendship, because he says it here. This is again from St. Basil to Libanius. He says, "I am writing you words which prove our friendship. Moreover, it is the nature of words to reveal the love in the soul, and for this reason are my words." You may carry them wherever you wish, and although you possess such great power, you are silent. Give in exchange to us, however, the fonts of eloquence which flow from your mouth. I know I'm getting kind of sappy, but it's this part. It's such a strong part here, like the way he writes. This is Saint Basil. He says, "I am writing you. I am writing you words which prove our friendship. Moreover, it is the nature of words to reveal the love in the soul, and for this reason are my words. You may carry them wherever you wish, and although you possess such great power, you are silent. Give in exchange to us, however, the fonts of eloquence which flow from your mouth." It's so touching. Like, it's so touching. He's saying, okay, so he's saying, St. Basil is saying to his friend, like, they were having this kind of snippy back and forth, but good-natured, I think, back and forth with sarcasm and so on. But then he was saying, he got really touching to his friend, and he said that words, it's in the nature of words to reveal the love in the soul. Like, that's what words are for, you know? He was saying that. Although nobody really does that with words, very few people do, right? People use words for, like, transactions, essentially. A lot of people do. All the time. And yet that's sort of like misusing them. Although they can be used for that, and they do have that utilitarian function available, right? But what does that really mean, you know? And here he's saying, well, words, it's in their nature to reveal the love in the soul. And he says, and for this reason are my words. It's so touching. He's saying to his friend, I love you, but he's saying it in like a really touching way. Like not like it's a tough thing. Like, it's a tough thing to be loving to somebody who's your friend or anybody and not have it be corrupted. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so he's really expressing that well, I think. And then he says, then he's exhorting his friend to, you know, take the words, take his love for him, this friendship love, you know, and take them wherever you want. And he's saying, like, you know, you possess this great power, but you're silent. You don't say it. You don't use it. And he's saying, you know, instead, give it in exchange to us, however, the fonts of eloquence which flow from your mouth. So, it was a little bit sarcastic at the end, actually, but kind of mixed. Maybe it was more honest, given the context, you know, that he was saying, use your power, use your ability, use your the love that's in your words, use them. Don't leave your mouth silent. And so many people are like this, you know. I was like I am like this, but I was like this, and in the past, you know, I've used my words much more, but I kind of stopped doing that because it felt a lot like they were never taken to mean anything. They were just taken for granted, and that people would just grab them and rip them apart or stow them away, or more so that people would grab them and just like want more. And that got annoying to me, you know. Honestly, it's that attitude that gets annoying to me. That greedy, grubbing for more attitude, and never giving anything back, or giving something back that's lesser, or not necessarily lesser, but more, again, just like this transactional stuff. It's like, oh, you gave me something that was like this nice? Well, I'll give you something back equal or less, because I don't want to reveal anything that's real. How I feel. It's like, all right, fuck you then. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's kind of how I felt. I was just annoyed by it. Yeah, so just kind of that attitude. But I guess I was like that too to people. So anyway, it is a tricky thing, because basically the reason you don't want to do this stuff, by the way, this like poetry stuff, feelings or whatever type of stuff, even though it's the whole reason why we're here basically is like, love and all this and feeling things, loving God and all of that and each other. You kind of don't want to do that. Why? Because you get called a faggot. Because you get made fun of. Because, you can attract weird kind of attention, or you can attract people that are too much as well. That's a tough one as well. But it's almost like a necessary risk, because I guess it's worth it, It's worth it. Like, nobody grows if you don't do that stuff. Nobody gets better. Nobody grows. People, they just get more shrewd and more calculating and more cold and more hardened of heart and more whatever, but it's gross. It's like, I'm sick of that, Being around those people, it's draining. Like, it's difficult. It's like constantly having to manage stuff, and you never want to bump into one of their insecurities or something like that, and it's like, you know what I mean? But anyways, I do understand it. I understand why and everything. So. But anyway, I like that. I like the tone of the writing. Like these old writings, I really like the tone because it is more holy. Like it's closer to holiness. It's not so gamed. It's not so manipulative. It's more nice to read, really. And it reminds me too of like what it means to be like a person and what it means to be like to have thoughts and to have feelings and everything. And I don't even really like saying that, because I've been so conditioned that, I'll just get called a faggot for any of that stuff. And it's like that. It's getting called a faggot, and it's the smirk. I really dislike that smirk. It's like all my friends and everything. So that's actually a corruption. I don't know what that is exactly, but that kind of mockery and everything, it's like, it's really annoying on purpose, right? Because it feeds something. Let's say you do something, you put like you're trying and you're putting effort and whatever into it, and that's like building a sandcastle, kind of, and other people can come along and smash it and they get enjoyment. And a lot of people's enjoyment, this is more like among children, young people, children, adolescents, even young adults, but also older people too. I think this is where demons get involved. They enjoy that stuff. Like they enjoy inflicting pain and whatever and all that stuff for some reason. And I don't know the exact answer or why, but that is definitely something that's out there. Personally, I like competition that's like on fair grounds. If you want to challenge me, I really enjoy that. But nobody does. You know what I mean? People want to challenge each other slyly, not outright. Like, to me, that's just cowardly. Like, if people want to have a competition, I really respect that when it's open and outright, because then it's like, okay, now both people can really unleash their full competitive instincts, drive, everything within the bounds of a competition. Now, that's enjoyable. Do we ever get that? No, not really. Very rarely. You actually have to seek that out, and you can find it. But I will tell you, in a lot of places and instances, you do find good people and good stuff in there and everything, but those fields, they become like gamed and dominated as well. And the good spirit that can exist in there, sometimes it gets kind of, yeah, I don't know, overly throttled, but I still think it's worth it, you know. And what else was I gonna say? That's all on the feelings and the emotions and everything side of it, but there's real life to it too. And I'll explain, or there's more real things that you can put your fingers into as well, like the bacteria in your gut will increase your competitiveness, like Clostridium butyricum. You can actually buy pills. I bought pills of this. I take those, and they actually increase rats' competitive behavior. And the rats will win more often versus rats that have gut dysbiosis. So some people might think, oh, it's all just, you know, airy-fairy whatever, and you just have to have more drive, have more... Some of it's your gut bacteria too, you know. You have to take into account a lot of these different factors. And so anyways, I take this stuff, and also fermented foods will increase the good bacteria in your gut. You know, if you don't know about it, maybe you don't care about it, but eating garbage, it'll make you, like, you know, not even want to compete and anything like that, and just continually take easy stuff. And over years, or do easy stuff where there's no competition, no chance of losing, and it's just like almost straight comfort or maximization and optimization of comfort. But over years, that just messes you up even more. And it's just kind of not fun, basically. Like, it's short-term fun, I guess. But, yeah, it's not a good path. I'd say it's a path of destruction. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. What else? So today, I also went, after the library, and I took these notes from the book, and then I left the library, and I didn't know what to do. I was really sitting in my car and, like, considering, like, what should I do? Because I don't really want to go home. It's pretty strange for me, because normally I'm just, like, sitting at home in front of the computer. But when I have this thing turned on, this 963 hertz, seriously, I keep it turned on, and I keep it with me. Although I turn it off at night, and I turn it off sometimes during the day, because it does make it a bit harder to read somehow and learn deeply. But, or commit things to memory. But when I have it on, I feel like I have more energy, and I feel like more outgoing. I'm not as afraid of people. That's a huge one for me, just seriously. Just even people's faces, you know. I can see people's faces, and I see all the distress, the hurt, a lot of it's like dismay. All the tears that are, you know, held in most people's faces, you know, they hold in their tears. They don't express their emotions, you know. And I can see all of that, but I'm more like okay with it, and I'm more like able to, like, just, you know, be out with people. And I even waved at this girl. So I'll tell you what happened. So I went to this other place in the city after I went to the library, and because I just wanted to do something. And normally I won't do anything, you know. If I'm by myself, I always feel like I need somebody with me to do stuff. And I always feel like I need to, like, have that, like, dyadic or buddied up thing, or body doubled, whatever you want to call it, but a reason to be out and, like, someone to be with. But I went out by myself to this other place, and it's like an inside market type of thing. And then I just walked around. I parked. I walked around in there. I was kind of enjoying it, and I was just looking around, and I went into like a couple shops, and I went up there to look. I went and looked around. There's some things to look at, and there was this girl that worked at the reception at the chiropractor office that I go to, and I had said hi to her before, and like I asked her name and everything, and she was kind of awkward, honestly, but she's pretty, but she was honestly kind of awkward, and I think she's just pretty young, so that's why. Early 20s, something like that. And a lot of women are just kind of awkward, like they're very, I think, anxious. I think a lot of women are very anxious. And I saw her coming in, and as I was leaving, and I just waved and I said hi. And again, I noticed this with so many people. She was like into her path or whatever, or like just trying to like in her head, not navigating to where she was going. I've been there. I know what it's like. I understand. And you're not really perceiving everything. And I think maybe she noticed me, but I noticed her, and I like chose to wave. We would have just passed each other. Even if she noticed me, she wouldn't have said anything. But again, she's like the front desk. I'm just a client, so there could be plausible deniability on all this. Why she wouldn't say anything, because maybe it's like a client thing. Don't make your clients feel awkward or something like that, or we don't know each other very well or whatever. But I just chose, and I waved and I said hi, and she was like, oh, you're from the chiropractor, ha ha ha. And it was like very weird, and I was like, yeah, good to see you, and I just kept going. I wasn't weird about it. I didn't say like, oh, good to see you again, and like laughed. But her reaction was like intense. She was like, oh, you're from the chiropractor, oh, ha ha ha. I was like, yeah, good to see you. And she's like, nice to see you. And I was like, and then I kept going. I was like, dude, what is going on, I mean, our society's messed up. Like, seriously. But, I mean, it was good, I said hi, so. It was honestly a big deal for me just to say hi to somebody, like in that kind of like split second that you see somebody, like you can, people choose pretty quickly, and so I chose to say hi. And people, they think about things after the fact a lot. That's all kind of BS, like people love to process when they're by themselves or with friends, and it's gossip and it's like low stakes or whatever, but there's kind of a live thing going on all the time that you can be a part of or not be. I consider this to be the arena, and most people are kind of spectators, and where there's like a couple people in the middle sort of doing things like fighting or whatever, and everyone's kind of watching. Well, you can choose to like say hi to people, and I mean, it doesn't always go well. That's why it's the arena, but you're actually in it if you do. And yeah, it's not always so clear what you do in the arena or how to go about it, right? But there's a lot of anyway, thinking that you can do outside of it, but you're still not in it. Okay, so, and I'm just saying in a minor way. I'm not saying I'm in like some major arena, but and then also there's a lot more that can be said about it as well. But so I did that, and that was fun. I actually had fun because I went in there and there's like an arcade, and I was thinking like, man, am I really gonna go into an arcade? I'm 30 years old. I'm gonna be turning 31 next month. I feel old, honestly. Like, I don't like feel that old, but I feel like in comparison to people that are younger, I just feel awkward in that way, I think a lot of older people feel this way. But yeah, young people have an advantage that nobody really tells them about as much. At least didn't tell me, but it is that old people do feel kind of like jealous, or maybe not jealous, maybe that's not the right word, but they can feel like insecure about being older because it's like you're washed, you're cooked, it's over. It's about potential basically. And young people, they don't really realize this as much. It's hard to when you're young, but it really is a thing. And not all old people will feel this way, but yeah. And there's also energy and everything that youth have that they don't even realize. That old people, because they've been young and they realize, like, it's you do lose energy over time, and you lose this ambition and motivations and drive and all this stuff and creativity and spontaneity and all these things. And then there's tons of books about how you can keep it, and there's tons of people talking about all this, but you learn to manage it better when you're older, I would say. You kind of maybe value it more, but younger people, they just sort of have it, and honestly, it's a blessing. So I guess yeah, anyways, I went into the arcade and I just played a game of pinball. I played the Jurassic Park pinball, and I actually had fun. Sounds so lame and nerdy and dorky and everything, but I actually had fun. Like, they had all these pinball machines, and I just picked one, and I put $1 in, and I played, and I was like, man, this game is rigged, because the ball kept like being aimed directly for the hole where you could not even hit it with the paddles. You hit the side of the pinball machine, the buttons, and it makes two paddles flip that are supposed to hit the ball back. And it's like the game is designed so that the ball just goes straight into the middle where the paddles can't even reach it. But I was kind of a little annoyed, but then it kept giving me more balls. I must have had like 7, 8, or 9 different balls the whole time, and I actually got a multi-ball. It didn't last for very long, but it was kind of fun near the end. And I really enjoyed it, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. The amusement. And then I left. I just played one game, and then I left. I wasn't there for long. I was only there for like half an hour at this place, and then I left. I saw that girl, as I said hi. And then I think I just came home after that. So yeah, kind of a nice day, honestly. Oh yeah, and then I broke up with that, or I ended things with that girl, that truck driver girl, and yeah, and that was my whole day. And I'm fasting. I didn't eat today. I'm pretty hungry. And here's the cat. Look at this kitty. Look at him. Isn't he so nice? Are you a nice cat? Are you Mr. Nice Cat? Yes, you're a nice kitty. That's Mr. Nicest cat ever. What a sweet cat. Oh, so sweet. What a precious cat.